Welcome back to the channel. This is Oblivion, and the update just dropped alongside the new banner trailer. And holy crap, this is way more than I ever expected. The the banner units are actually insanely good, and the refines are just beyond anything I could have possibly imagined how good they are. So let's go ahead and start with the new units, and then we'll jump right into the refines. I am super excited, so let's go ahead and start. Okay, so we're not going to go through the whole trailer because we kind of already saw these units last night with the FEH channel. So let's just skip and go right to Florina. And I'm going to be completely honest. When I saw Ascended Florina, I was not very excited. She's an okay unit for me. She's not like an amazing character or anything. And I kind of was confused why she got an Ascended. But her weapon is absolutely insane. So we have a new height bow, accelerate special trigger, countdown -1, effective against flying foes. If units HP is less than or equal to 60%, allies can move to a space adjacent to units. Holy crap. So what does this mean? This essentially allows everyone else to have a Wings of Mercy effect as long as Florina is below or equal to 60% HP. This means Florina could go in, right? Snipe a unit, drop into that below 60% HP range, and she can act as a Wings of Mercy beacon for everybody else. This is super powerful. This is like insanely strong. Just that effect is insanely strong, but it gets better. Allies within 2 spaces can move to a space within 2 spaces of a unit. That is Ash's preference skill right there, just without the joint drive attack part. That's insane. And then she also gets attack and speed +6 and 15% of unit speed as true damage. Very solid, right? You have the stats you need, you have the damage you need, but most importantly, you have the support you need. Florina is now going to be a new teleporting beacon, and this is very powerful, very strong. We've seen how good it is on Ash, we've seen how good it is on Summertana, and we've seen just how good teleportation is with something like Harmonic Sonya, right? So the thing with this Ascendant Florina now is she can be very good in Ether Raids, as she can act as a Wings of Mercy beacon. And not only that, she could be very good in Summoner duels because she can also act as not only a Wings of Mercy beacon, but just a teleporting pad essentially. And for me, the best part is that she is from Blazing Blade, which means that she's going to work extremely well with Harmonic Roy. Harmonic Roy is going to be able to give her that true damage, and she's going to allow him to teleport and really get in there and just do some crazy things. I'm honestly stunned how good she is. I never thought that she would get this kind of bow. I was kind of just expecting her to be able to kill a few things, and that's pretty much it. This has gone beyond anything I could have imagined, and I'm super excited now, and I think I actually have to pull for her, even though I kind of wanted to skip this banner. So let's move on to the next unit. Our next unit is going to be Sain. And I didn't expect much of Sain either. I know he had Cancer remaining +1 just from the FEH channel, but they kind of gave him a very unique weapon here. So we have Jolly Jade Lance, and it has enables Canto remain +1, like I said, grants attack +3. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack and speed +6 to unit during combat. So that's very basic. That's just giving him some stats he needs. If a rally assist is used by unit, grants attack and speed +6 to unit for 1 turn, and grants unit another action once per turn. Holy crap. This is so cool and unique. Okay, so the first thing is, right, he gets another action. Now, this is somewhat kind of like Gale Force. The major difference being that, with Gale Force, you actually get to go and kill an opponent, and then you get another action. So he's not going to get that, because it only works with rallies. So this weapon is just extremely unique. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be utilized. I want to say it can be used for some kind of Gale Force play, or almost like a disarm trap, where you can rally and then use the cancel remaining +1 to go and hit a trap or something like that. But I'm not exactly sure, because the way it should work is that he should rally and then he'll get another action, then the cancel remaining goes off after that second action. So I'm kind of confused exactly how it will be utilized, but it is very unique, and I could definitely see that someone's going to find some way to take full advantage of this. Possibly on defense teams, right? Because in normal defense, or in normal Ether Raids defense, essentially what you'll do is you'll have a dance trap or a rally trap, and what Sain can do is, and he can go in, do the rally trap, and then get another action, so you don't have to waste a dancer's action for him to continue going in. So maybe something like that is where he'll show up. I'm not really sure yet, but it is very interesting and unique, and definitely different than anything else we've seen on any other unit, especially a Lance Cav. So very exciting to see that finally Sain gets in, and he's actually unique and cool. Unfortunately, Kent did not get the Sate treatment, so Kent is essentially just going to be a demote here with some decent fodder, nothing really amazing in my opinion. And then we have Letizia, and Letizia is not a mythic. She is not a legendary. Oops, let's go back to her kit. So that's pretty interesting already. We know that what her weapon does. We've seen it already in the story maps. But it is quite strong, but I'm not completely sold on her if I'm being completely honest. Because the thing is, right, she has attack +3 at start of combat. If his HP is greater than 25%, grants attack +60 unit during combat, inflicts attack -6 on foe, makes a guaranteed follow-up attack, and then she inflicts penalty on unit stats based off the 3 conditions, essentially. So if an ally is within 3 spaces of a unit, if another foe is within 2 spaces of target, and then a bonus on the unit or a penalty on the foe. So she can essentially get up to -9 to all stats on units. And while this can be very good, right, she's going to be able to hit really hard. The thing is, if anytime she runs into like a no follow-up, she's kind of going to be screwed, in my opinion. Like she's going to do a lot of damage, but she's not going to do enough damage to like one-hit KO people, right? She's not like a legendary Lilina or like a wedding Lilina now, where she really has the power to just one-shot enemies. So I feel like she'll be good against certain units, like units who can't deny her follow-up or who can't who don't have no follow-up. But in normal Ether raids, you're going to run into something like Brave Hector or like Ascended the Thune, who's going to be able to deny her follow-up, and they have higher speed than she does, so she won't even get the guaranteed follow-up attack. So I'm actually not that sold on her. In all honesty, considering this banner, I expected her to be the thing that made me want to pull. But in all honesty, 100% it is Ascended Florina. Ascended Florina is just insane unit. She's an absolutely amazing unit. I don't think she's a must pull by any means, but she is very, very unique, and she does take historically powerful effects and has multiple of them in her weapon. So I think between, on this banner, Florina is definitely the best unit in my opinion, and then maybe Letizia or Sain. I'm not sure exactly how Sain will be used, but he is unique, and that means a lot to me, because I think that unique effects definitely age well over just stats. Next, let's move on to the refines, and holy crap. Okay, so I have been waiting for the Naesala, Velouria, and Ranulf refine for a very long time. These are 3 units I love. I used Ranulf a lot back in the day, not so much now, and then Velouria and Naesala are just mainstays on my teams. I love them to like bits. I love them so much. So let's go ahead and start off with Fallen Berkuts. And I think Fallen Berkut may be the loser, unfortunately, in this refined batch. So let's look at him. Cream Held. If foe initiates combat and a unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, unit can counterattack regardless of foe's range, and foe cannot make a follow-up attack, but after combat, if unit attack deals 20 damage to the nearest ally. If foe initiates combat or if foe's HP is greater than 75% at start of combat, inflicts attack and defense -5 on foe during combat, and unit makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. Now, this is decent. This is good, but not amazing in my opinion. Even though this isn't a true distant counter weapon, they still kind of didn't give it enough in my opinion, right? They kind of increased the range so you could get the distant counter much more easily, right? If the foe initiates combat and you have a unit within 3 spaces, that's 2 conditions to get distant counter. And then you also do the recoil damage. Not the best in my opinion in most situations. When it comes to stats, they only gave him attack and defense -5, which is effectively like +5 defensive resistance and +5 attack. Decent, but not amazing, and the condition is enemy phase mostly, though if the foe's HP is above 75%, you also get it. And then he gets a guaranteed follow-up attack. So how good is this really? I think it's decent, but not amazing by any means. It's not going to be the thing that like pulls him out of like irrelevance, in my opinion. It does kind of open up his B slot a bit more, and he can do a bit more with that, but it's nothing meta-changing. It's not going to... It doesn't give him a new life, in my opinion. This is going to allow people who have Fallen Berkut and they want to use him for him to be a little bit better. Okay, let's move on to Naesala, and this refine is everything I wanted and more. It's just completely insane, and the number one thing you have to remember is Naesala is a free-to-play unit, which is massive, right? So Naesala gets Grant Speed +3. If unit initiates combat or foe's HP is greater than 75% at start of combat, grants attack and speed +5 to unit during combat, and deals 15% of unit speed as true damage. Okay, already this is partially what I wanted, right? I figured he would get some kind of true damage effect into his weapon. And that's pretty much all I thought he was going to get, if I'm being completely honest. I thought he might get like 20% true damage and then a bit attack and speed, and that's all you'd get, right? He's a free-to-play unit. I was completely wrong. So not only does he get that, he gets, if unit is transformed or if foe's HP is greater than 75%, grants another attack and speed plus 5. So that's 10 attack and 10 speed. That's amazing already. To unit during combat, and the following effects will occur based on the value of unit speed minus foe speed. So as long as Naesala is faster, he's going to get these effects, right? If he has more than 1 speed, he gets grant special cooldown charge plus 1 to unit per unit's attack. Oh, this is so good. So this is essentially like a flashing blade or a heavy blade effect, right? And this is going to allow Naesala to be a very powerful Gale Force unit, or he can just pack a bigger punch, right? He's going to be able to use 2 cooldown specials and get them off on the second hit, and he's just going to be able to do some massive damage. This is insanely good. This is like, I was hoping for this, but I just didn't think it was going to really happen. And that's not even all of it. If Naesala's speed is greater than or equal to 6 more speed than his opponent, neutralizes effects that prevent units' follow-up attacks. Oh my god, this is so good. Like, so he pretty much got everything he could possibly need and more. Not only did he get 10 attack and 10 speed, not only did he get 15% true damage, he also got flashing blade or heavy blade, and then he also got half of NFU, which is what he really needed as well. So now Naesala can just pretty much do whatever he wants. He can be a great Gale Forcer. He can be a great dive bomb user. He can just go in and just completely destroy enemies before they even get a chance to counterattack. And the best part is it's all based off his speed, which you're already going to want to be stacking anyway. So now you can get like a plus 10 Naesala, give him that speed IV, and then stack him up with like maybe, stack him up with like an attack speed ideal or attack speed catch or something like that. And then like, or Swift Sparrow or Swift Surge. And then in his seal slot, give him like Blade Session, and he's just gonna have a massive speed stat, and he's gonna be able to just completely annihilate things. I'm so excited. This is like one of the best refines we've gotten in a long time, and the fact that it's for Naesala just, oh, it's so cool. I'm so happy. And that's not even it. We still have 2 more pretty good refines coming up. So let's go ahead and check out Velouria. And Velouria is still a very good unit, even before her refine. She is just a centerpiece of Gale Force and other support units. Like, she can just offer something that many other units can't, which is the special cooldown count -2. And they kept that obviously here, but they actually kind of fixed one of Velouria's weaknesses. So let's check out her refine. Grant speed plus 3 at start of turn 1. Grant special cooldown count -2 to unit and unit support partner, if any. If unit initiates combat or within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack and speed plus 5 to unit during combat. At start of turn, transform. They updated the transform, so it's the new infantry beast transformation, which is very good because it has that tempo skill built in, and then also the plus 7 true damage instead of plus 10, but that's completely fine. It's amazing. And then we have her actual refine. At start of turn, if unit is within 3 spaces of support partner, grants attack and speed plus 6 and neutralizes foes' bonuses during combat to unit and any support partner within 3 spaces of unit for 1 turn. This is so amazingly good. She is going to give that visible attack and speed to not only herself, but to her partner, and then also neutralizing the foe's bonuses. So this is going to allow you to have a giant stat swing. It's going to allow you to not have to be reliant on buffs as much, right? A lot of times you're going to want to use a link skill with the smite to get that attack and speed, but now you don't have to do that because Velouria is going to just grant it herself. And it's also going to neutralize the foe's bonuses, which is massive because a lot of times you are going to be doing those stat checks for Heavy Blade or Flashing Blade if you're not using her with like Thor, and this is going to help a ton. But that's not it. If she is transformed or foe's HP is greater than 75%, she's going to get another 5 attack and speed. So she's getting 10 attack and speed and then a visible 6 attack and speed as well. So this is like a massive buff to Velouria's combat, which was one of the biggest things holding her back. So when you use Velouria on a Gale Force team, you want her to Gale Force as well, right? You want her to not only help out the initiator with their cooldown, but you want her to be able to follow up with Wings of Mercy, go in, and then kill 2 things essentially with her Gale Force as well. And now with this refine, she can do that. She can also do other things, of course. You can just use her just for the support with the cooldown reduction. But if you don't want to, you can use her for Gale Force, and she's gonna be very, very good there, which is amazing because that's where I use Velouria, and I honestly think that's where she's best. So another amazing refine. We've gotten 2 amazing refines in this batch already. Let's move on to Ranulf. Okay, so we have Ranulf, and Ranulf was in an interesting position. He's always been a bit underwhelming, but he did have like some niche support. He's kind of like a support unit, but they've just gone full out combat this time with Ranulf pretty much. So he has Covert Cat Fang, grants defense +3. If unit initiates combat or is within 3 spaces of an ally, grants +4 to all stats to unit during combat. And then he still has the attack and defense buff for his allies within 3 spaces, but now it gives +4. So decent, not bad. Then we go to his Refine, and he gets at start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than 25%, grants another +4 to all stats. So he's getting +8 to all stats. That's pretty solid to unit during combat, and neutralizes effects that prevents units follow-up attacks. So that's half of NFU, very good. And then he has, and deals damage equal number of allies within 3 spaces times 5, maximum 15. Now, I'm not going to say this Refine is like stupidly broken. I think Naesala's and Velouria's are better, but this is very cool and very interesting. It's going to give Ranulf a lot of stats he desperately needs so he can be a combat unit. It's going to give him the half of NFU so he can get his second hit in. And remember that cavalry beast units do have that impact effect, right? They're going to inflict attack and defense -4 and then an impact effect on them. So a lot of times if Ranulf is fast enough, he's going to be able to deny the opponent's follow-up attacks. He's going to get his own follow-up attack, and he's going to be doing true damage. Now the real question is, how much true damage is he really going to be getting realistically? Now the maximum is 15, but how often do you really have 3 allies within 3 spaces? Not too much, right? That's not going to happen most of the time. I think most of the time Ranulf's probably going to get 5 to 10 true damage per hit, which is still really solid, right? Like a lot of times when we look at other units who are using true damage, they're usually within that range, right? They're usually getting somewhere between like 7 to like 12-ish true damage per hit. The more powerful units like Brave Olm and Legendary Nana are getting like 12 to 14. But even so, like Ranulf having that in his weapon actually makes him a pretty strong combat unit, which is cool. It's not exactly the direction I wanted to see him go. I kind of wanted him to be a support unit as well, but we do already have Caden. So it's kind of like, you know, can he really surpass Caden with his buff sharing and his drive guard? It would be pretty difficult to do. So it's cool that they made Ranulf into a powerful combat unit, and I'm pretty happy with it overall. It's not my perfect Refine, but it's definitely a strong Refine. I definitely wouldn't underestimate Ranulf with that amount of true damage. So now let's move on to the final Refine. Okay, now we have picking Flora with the last Refine, and we have effective against beast foes, grants attack +3. At start of combat, if unit's resistance is greater than foe's resistance, reduces foe's attack, speed, and defense by 80% of the difference between stats during combat. Max -8. So this is pretty strong. They updated it from 50% to 80%, so it's going to be much easier to hit that condition. And then she's also going to get it another +4 to all stats as long as she's above 25% HP, which is simple enough. Then for her Refine, we have if unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, +4 to stats again, very good, to unit during combat, and the following effects will occur based off the value of unit's resistance minus foe's resistance. So if Flora's resistance is greater than 1, she's going to reduce damage from foe's first attack by 30%. And if it's greater than 7, greater than or equal to 7, foe cannot make a follow-up attack. So I think this Refine is very solid. It's nothing like absolutely insane or anything, but she is going to get follow-up denial. She is going to get a ton of stats, right? She's going to get +8 to all stats, and then she can inflict another -8 to all stats on the foe. So that's a 16 stat swing. So it's pretty scary. I think this Refine is very solid and very good. I don't think it's like absurdly good, but I do think it's very good. And if you're a Picnic Flora fan, you should definitely be happy with this. Okay, before we're done, we have a few more things to cover. First, let's go over Limstella's Weapon. They are very, very crazy. Oh my gosh. Not only is their art good, their weapon is very unique. So we have Morph Fimbulvetter, grants attack +3. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, inflicts attack and resistance -8 on foe during combat. Foe cannot make a follow-up attack, and grants bonus to unit's attack during combat equals total attack and resistance bonuses on allies with the highest total attack and res bonuses within 3 spaces. If unit is within 3 spaces of an ally, after combat, if unit attack deals 15 damage to nearest ally. So this weapon's kind of nuts, right? Like, not only are you getting attack and resistance -8 on foe during combat, you're denying their follow-up attack. You're also getting a giant bonus to your attack that is equal to attack and resistance bonuses on allies, right? So that can be up to like +14. So that's a lot of attack to be getting. And then afterwards, they do that recoil damage, which is a bit annoying, but you can probably find some ways to take advantage of it. Overall, I think this is a pretty solid PRF weapon. I'm not sure just how insane it's going to be. Like, is Limstella going to be like a meta-defining unit? I kind of doubt it. They look solid, though. They definitely look solid. They are slow, though, so they don't really get follow-up attacks. So you're going to have to figure out a way to deal with that. But overall, I'd say it's a pretty good PRF weapon. And if you are glad that Limstella is finally in the game, they're going to do pretty good for you. Next, let's move on to some art real quick, and then we are going to move over to Chaos Raids. Oh gosh, okay. So here's Embla's art, and it is very cool, very unique. The coloring's very interesting. Like, look at her like lance here, or her spear. Like, it's very cool. It has like the eye in the center, almost kind of like Lord of the Rings or something, right? I didn't really know how I felt about her when I saw her during the cinematic, but I think now that I can see her art and get a better idea of like her actual proportions and stuff, she looks pretty cool. Yeah, I think she looks pretty awesome, especially like the weapons, like the armor on her like hands and stuff. It looks very good. And then the other thing, this is what I'm really excited about. We have our new icon for the FEH game, and it has new Veronica on it. And I love this design. I think this design is phenomenal. I love the short hair. We can't really see the armor or the like design of the clothes she's wearing right now, but it looks phenomenal if you watch it in the cinematic. It looks so good. So I'm very, very happy with that. Now, let's move on to the final thing. Let's talk about Chaos Season and Ether Raids, because we have gotten some of the rules added into the game. So if you head on over to Ether Raids and you click the little question mark here, essentially it will give you all the rules and stuff. But if you go towards the end and you get past all the normal rules, we will get to the Chaos Season. Here you go. Ether Raids, Chaos Season. The Trickster Loki has created a special season, blah, blah, blah. During Chaos Season, specific or special lift values and rules apply that are unique to the season. Chaos Season bonus heroes. Every Chaos Season, all heroes released in a select version update of the game will be available as additional bonus heroes. Only normal bonus mythic heroes will lower lift loss on failed defense, but that is the only difference. Okay, so what does this mean? This means essentially like they will choose a version update. So like the example they gave is like 1.0 to 1.8. And as long as you're using one of those units from that period, they count as a bonus unit. So you'll get the extra plus 20 points like you normally would. But when it comes to the bottom part, what they mean is if you run into a version that has, let's say, a mythic in that version, right? Let's say like it's version 3.0 to 3.11. And you have Duma, right? Duma will technically be a bonus unit. But if he is on your defense, he will not give you the extra lift loss, even though he's a bonus unit technically. Instead, it will only be the mythic that is specified on the selection screen, right? On the bonus unit screen. Next part, lift bonus in Chaos Seasons. All raid parties get plus 70 lift gained, and those with a bonus ally who defeated one or more foes receives a bonus of plus 20. Here it is. Here's the catch. You knew it was too good to be true. Okay, so first of all, typically you get like plus 100 or 110 per match, right? So we're getting 70 on top of that. So it'll be like 170, 180. And then just like the babysitter meta in Arena, we now have to get kills with our bonus units. That is correct. So whatever bonus unit you choose that week, you better be very good with them because they're going to need to get a kill. And you know, sometimes that's easy. Sometimes you're going to have like your carry be your bonus unit. Easy mode, right? You're always going to get a kill. But what if you have like a dancer as your bonus unit? But let's say you choose a dancer for your bonus unit. Well, now you're in a tough situation because that dancer is going to have to get a kill to get that plus 20. And that plus 20 lift is going to be a very big deal. So this is a bit scary, to be honest. It's going to make you have to really decide on who your bonus unit is. And you're going to have to really stick to that. So I think one of the better ways you're going to have to do this is probably build strategies around your bonus unit so that you can take full advantage of that. Or you get lucky, I guess, and like maybe there's like a dancer at the end you can kill or something with your bonus unit. But I wouldn't always want to rely on that. So definitely another twist to add some more chaos into the season. The next thing is all defensive teams get 40 to mitigation of lift loss. So this means essentially, like right now, we get minus 100 if you lose full lift loss when you lose a Ether Raids defense map. But now it will be minus 60, and I believe it can go even 20 lower now if you have the bonus defense mythic still on your team. So that's kind of nice. It helps out because you are no longer getting the merge bonuses from having defense mythics on your team, right? So like you actually need to get kills or win. You need to at least get 2 kills or win and have the defense mythic on your team. So it's going to be pretty rough because back in the day, I'm going to be a bit of a boomer here. If you go back and look at like the beginning of Ether Raids or like the Asher season, the beginning of Ether Raids, defense matches meant a lot. being able to get those high ranks was completely dependent if your defense team could succeed and you could be perfect on offense. It was both things combined. And it's not really like that nowadays because you can just have a lot of merges on your mythics. So now we're kind of going back to that. So that means, guess what? You need to invest in your defense team. You need to practice with your defense team. You need to make sure your AI is working. You need to make sure you have traps. You need to make sure you have counters to everything that's going to be showing up. And that's going to be more difficult than ever because the meta is going to be more sporadic than ever because everyone's going to be using different bonus units and not everyone's going to be using mythics, right? A lot of mythics are getting thrown out. So that means it's going to be even more difficult for your defense team to perform. So that's horrifying. That's absolutely horrifying. Next, disabled effects in Chaos Season. So this is very important. These seasonal, legendary, and mythic effects will be disabled during Chaos Season. Effects that boost ally stats. So this is your plus 5 HP and resistance you would get from air, your plus 5 HP and plus 5 defense you get from Naga, etc. Those kind of things. Effects that change lift gain or lift loss via blessings or merges. So you're not getting additional scoring from having merges on your mythic units, and you're not getting additional lift loss from your defense merges. That's kind of the premise of the mode, so it's not really surprising there. And then lastly, special slots. So that means that your Regan, your Dagger, your Emerin, all those units, right? All those new mythics are not going to give you that extra slot. And so that means on defense and on offense, we are going to be losing a unit slot. So we back down to 5 on offense and 6 on defense. And that is a very, very big deal. I think a lot of people don't consider that the reason why Gale Force became such a usable and consistent strategy was because we got an additional unit on our team who could Gale Force, right? Or who could dance. And so that's a very, very big deal. Very massive deal. It's going to change the meta and how the game is played drastically. Next, we have team creation in Chaos Season. Duplicate heroes are not allowed on teams. Oh man, so I was talking about how you could possibly just throw a whole bunch of flames on a team with a save unit. Guess you can't now, so that's definitely something to consider. You can't run your 3 peony team. You can't run your double air team. You can't do any of that stuff, so just another thing to jump around with your team building. Next, you can only include one ally that uses sing or dance on your team. Ooh, man, this makes offensive strategies much more difficult, right? You're not going to be able to just dance spam. You're not going to be able to do hit and runs as easy. Gale Force is going to be much more difficult. And this also means that units who can perform an additional sing or dance or an unusual sing or dance are much more valuable. Things like Brave Mary Ann. Brave Mary Ann stocks just skyrocketed. She's going to be a phenomenal unit for this game mode, or units like Duopini or Harmonic Azura or Harmonic Dorothea, who can have a second dance through their duo skill, is also going to be a very big deal here. So that's just something to look out for. Next, you can only include one ally that can use Savior. So no more save balls. You either choose near save or you choose far save. You do not get both. What this means is that you can just run a save unit and have them Omni tank, but that's going to be scary because there's no mythic buffs. The other option is that you can use a different unit to substitute a save unit. So like, for example, you could use something like Duo Ike to take on the melee matchups and then Brave Hector in the background to take on the range matchups. I definitely expect to see a lot of that. So that's something definitely to think about. It's going to be interesting. This game mode is going to be nuts. It's going to be real crazy. And then lastly, we have standard lift bonuses. So putting a bonus character in your raiding party will give you plus 20 bonus lift. That's nothing new. That's what we've always had. And then in Vault of Heaven, raids with no losses will give you plus 10. Nothing new there as well. That's still the same. And using a bonus mythical hero will mitigate lift loss. So nothing different there as well. So there's still some reason to use bonus mythic heroes if you do not care about the extra plus 10 per match or plus 20 if you're doubling up. So overall, this is a lot to take in. I don't want to talk too much about it. I do plan to have another video where I will go in depth into Chaos Raids, especially when I get a chance to get my hands on it and I can really try it out for myself. But this is horrifying in my opinion. These things are going to put some massive restrictions on team building, and it's going to make this game mode just really, really more difficult. And for people who either do not enjoy Ether Raids, this is not going to be fun for you. Or if you like casual Ether Raids, this is probably going to be a bit more difficult. Essentially, the way I see this is going to be the Summer Duels ranked of Ether Raids. This is going to be where you put on your tried hard pants. We're going back to year 1 of Ether Raids, month 1 of Ether Raids, Asher season when there was no mythics, right? We're going back to the hard days where you're spending 30 minutes to an hour per Ether Raids match, calculating every single matchup to make sure that you can clear this map. We're going back to the hardcore days. So put on your tryhard pants and get ready, because Chaos season is here and it is going to be scary. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like and subscribe. It helps the channel grow and keeps the content coming out. This has been Oblivion, and I'll catch you all later with more Fire Emblem Heroes.